Hi friends, Joseph Anthony here. I'm back with another video, and this one is the new moon outlook for March the 10th. And this one I'm calling the new moon of restless imagination, and I'm going to explain that in a few minutes. This one's going to be purely astrology. There's not going to be too much politics, but I will cover the United States' birth chart because, again, this country is a very important time that it's going through this transition because of its Pluto return. But this time of the year, we have the sun going through Pisces, and the symbol of the fish represents imagination. It represents being restless, so therefore the new moon of restless imagination. But the second half of the month, when we have the sun entering Aries, now we're looking at energy, motivation, drive. And so this month is going to be a little bit of both. Now, we do have a chaotic alignment coming up right around the 9th and 10th with Mars and Uranus right alongside this new moon. So this is going to be a very interesting month where we may see things that are unreal, or we may see things begin to dissolve or disappear, because that's the energy of Pisces, can make things disappear and seem unreal. But I will cover the astrology and what I see happening, and I'll give you a little overview of what the planets are suggesting. Again, if you understand astrology, it's a symbolic language for understanding cycles and patterns. And when you begin to see these cycles and patterns, you begin to make better choices, and you begin to understand how to make decisions a little wiser. You know, that's all I use astrology for, really, and I help my clients doing that as well. So let's get going and see what we have here. Of course, this is going to be a new moon in the sign of Pisces, the two fish. And the two fish are always seen in opposition to each other. There's usually a restlessness with the Pisces energy. So we all have these alignments in our charts because our birth charts have all 12 zodiac signs. So wherever this Pisces moon is going to activate in your chart, it illuminates that area. So it's suggesting it's pointing in that area of your chart for the next 2 weeks where you need to focus on something. So that's what it's implying. So let's take a closer look. I will get into the chart. Here's an overview as we start off March. I'm doing this on the 2nd. So let's look here. We have the Sun, Saturn, Mercury, and Neptune all in Pisces right here. They're very closely aligned. These three are very closely aligned, and then all of them will start moving closer and closer to Neptune. So what is Pisces? Pisces is the imagination, as I said. It's very psychic. It's very much in tune, but sometimes it's not too motivated. So that's the downside. But I will go into the descriptions of what Pisces represents during this new moon. We also have two planets in Taurus, which is, again, about our values, our money, our belief systems. And Taurus is not a very motivated sign as well. Then we have these three planets right here in Aquarius. Now, Aquarius is the sign of intelligence. It's the scientific sign. And Aquarians are not really known to be very super motivated as well. So we have this energy as we begin the month, and sort of like we're in la-la land, and we're not feeling as motivated to do things as we normally would, which is totally it's expected at this time. It's like we're trying to figure things out. There's a little bit of confusion going on, but fortunately, there's no really rough alignments that I see here. Notice Chiron here is also conjunct the North Node. This is suggesting that there's some sort of healing taking place, or a future healing that needs to take place, because Chiron represents the wounded healer. And it's in Aries, the self. So we're all kind of slowing down in order to heal something or to come to some sort of realization within ourselves. And by the way, Pisces energy is very much healing energy. Okay, if you've ever been around anyone who has a strong Pisces in their chart, they can be very strong healers as well, especially if they have a lot of fire in their chart as well. So, but this is a month where we start off sort of, what are we doing? Where are we going? But the second half of the month definitely gets turned up a bit. So, in the USA chart, we have all that Pisces energy right here in the third house of communication. And so little dribs and drabs of information are pouring out. We also see Mars and Venus are also going to conjunct the moon of the United States. So look for major information, again, coming out this month with regards to politics, the homeland, anything to do with real estate matters. I forgot to mention in the last video, there were a couple of fires. There was a Texas chicken fire, and there was another fire somewhere else, that just appeared out of nowhere. And so when we have these kinds of alignments, we could expect a lot of conversation this month, very important stuff to come forth. Now, the second half of the month, when the Sun and Mercury both move out of Pisces and go into the fourth house, this is where they begin to square Venus, Jupiter, and then the Sun. So we could expect a little conflict or, some restlessness, some irritability. There could be some issues regarding the president, once again, because there's going to also be a lunar eclipse this month. And so that's going to be at 5 degrees of Libra, right up in here in the 10th house. And so there is going to be a lot of sort of, again, I hate to say it, frustration or irritation the second half of the month. But something is trying to come through here because of Mars and Venus. And if you notice, Venus is really squaring Uranus. So we're going through some sort of metamorphosis or change in our value systems, our beliefs. Society is changing. Many of us are waking up. Even the average person that is clueless is starting to realize, wait a second here, something is wrong, with the political system, with the financial system, our religions. I was talking to someone the other day who really didn't know much about any of this stuff, and they were questioning everything too. So this is the kind of energy that we have as we begin the month, is this awareness, questioning things on a larger scale. That is what's supposed to happen with a great awakening. Everyone, the average person to the most educated person, is questioning everything. What is real? What is not real? What do I believe in? What do I value? And so this is permeating society throughout the entire world. So the astrology is indicating all of that. The new moon will highlight that third house, and I will get back into that. But I just wanted to run through this brief overview. Now, we also have on the 9th this square, Mars square Uranus. Now, Mars is about action. This is why I chose this image here. And Uranus is unpredictability. And so Mars is going to be in Aquarius. Uranus is in Taurus. So look for some major activity that heats up right around as we get closer to March the 9th. Now, this could be with society, could be, outbreaks, people, even like if you're driving or in the store, people just losing their marbles. I'm seeing more and more of that. Of course, we're seeing it in Europe and other countries, protests and people just getting upset. And so this kind of energy is very unpredictable. Okay, and so keep an eye on around this time frame this month that we do have some volatile energy coming in. So here is the alignment for Mars and Uranus. There is Uranus at 19 degrees. It's closely aligned to Jupiter, and there is Mars at 19 degrees. And so this is going to be, again, this is tension. This is 90 degrees in astrology, which means pressure, challenges, feeling irritable, restless, and wanting to break out of something, but it's hard to do when we have all these planets in Pisces. All we could do is dream about it, fantasize. Oh, I wish I had this and I wish I had that, and so on and so forth, you see. So if it was a fire sign, which we will have next month in April, where we have a solar eclipse in Aries, that's going to ignite a lot of passion and drive and determination. So this month is really about the ideas, the thoughts of what we want, what we need to let go of, situations, especially the lunar eclipse at the end of the month. That is in Libra. Maybe you need to get rid of some people in your life. That is going to be a theme as well. Then the United States' chart, we have that Uranus and Jupiter right here. As I've been saying all along, something new is trying to evolve. Now, it could be a financial system because it is Taurus. It's the 5th house. Could be a new leader, absolutely. I mean, if you notice in the politics, in the political theater, especially in the United States here, we've had quite a few politicians, well-known politicians, stepping down, like Mitch McConnell, the leader of the Senate. And so we're seeing changes to the system. Somehow, some way, these changes are being implemented. And so we see the Mars there in the second house of income and value. Now, there is a possibility this month that there could be some market issues, market corrections. There could be a spike in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as well, because Mars and Uranus could be unpredictable. Something could happen in the market around this time, and that is a very strong possibility here. But it could also be about information. The third house is about communication, technology. Any form of technology. Could be cell phones, could be computers, could be power outages. Notice Venus is conjunct the moon of the United States. So I'm going to say here, right around this 9th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, very strong energy is being shown here, where it does involve the United States in some way. So there could be some very important information that comes out this month, right around this time, with our with our government, doing something or saying something or making some sort of change that surprises everyone. Okay, because anytime we're talking about Uranus or Aquarius, which is one and the same, you're always in for surprises. And so this is what I'm seeing here with that Mars square Uranus. Now, on the 9th, also, a couple hours later, Mercury enters Aries. Now the dynamics begin to shift. Mercury represents communication, thought processes, and Mercury in Aries is very quick. It's very sharp. It gets to things right away. It speaks its mind. It has ideas that it acts upon. And so later on that day, we see this Aries energy now, the fiery, get up and go kind of energy entering. So wherever this is in your chart, that's the area you'll be speaking out in. You'll feel more motivated. You'll want to, be a little bit more challenging with others because Aries is a fire sign, but it also is represented by the ram, which likes to butt heads with other rams. So again, symbolically. And here's the picture of Mercury, which is associated with the wings and the caduceus there. So this is going to be a very interesting day to watch. Here, Mercury enters Aries right there in the United States' chart. And as you can see here, only a day away from it going into the 4th house. And so we are going to see something in the United States that's going to be very important. There could be some conflict, major disagreements, whatever you want to call them. We're so used to this right now. And as I tell everyone, watch this and stay centered. We are watching a show right now playing itself out. And the key here is for the United States people to wake up and realize that they're basically being controlled by both sides. And, the bankers that have been controlling everything, and above them, these religions that have been controlling everything. So, this is going to, again, bring things to awareness, a greater awareness or a quicker awareness with Mars in Aries. Now, let's talk about the new moon. The new moon is going to be in Pisces. It's going to be at 20 degrees of Pisces, and I do have a chart for this. So Pisces is a very special sign. It's the last sign of the zodiac here, and it represents the doorway between this realm, the physical realm, and the unconscious realm, which is just as real. You see, and so this is why Pisces has this dreamy kind of fantasy-oriented mindset, because they're living between realities. What's real in the physical world or what's not real in the physical world versus what they see in these other realms of consciousness. So this is why it's depicted by two fish. And the two fish are in opposition to each other. They're always in opposition to each other because there's an inner conflict that occurs with Pisces. Because they're so sensitive, they take in everything, they absorb everything like a sponge. They're very much, sense energy very easily. And there's this conflict that's constantly, pushing and pulling and pushing and pulling, and they feel like they can never find any stability. So wherever this is in your actual birth chart, that's the area you have trouble finding stability. Or this is the area that you can make a difference by being compassionate or giving and helping others. You see, that's how it works. So let's look at some of the qualities of Pisces. I put this chart together: strengths of Pisces and weaknesses of Pisces. All right. So again, this is very general, but the strengths are selfless and thoughtful, passionate and creative, gratitude and self-sacrificing, tolerant and understanding, kind and sympathetic, compassionate and very psychic. The weaknesses are influenced by their surroundings, careless, rash, ill-disciplined, inability to confront reality, absence of confidence, insecure about direction, sentimental indecisiveness, and lack of foresight. There's the two fish. You got the one side and the other side. You see, and this is symbolic of the energy of the symbol of Pisces. So if you have a strong Pisces in your chart, you know what I'm talking about. And so this is a part of the dynamics of our learning here. When we're here in this world, we are basically experiencing life through the filters that we are being influenced by. You see, but again, it's not who we are. As I say, we're not our astrology. We're not even our bodies. We're the energy in the suit. And we can override things. We can, if we know how to do that, we can override things. But this is the influence of this new moon here. So you got this push and pull going on here. All right? And Pisces is a water sign. So there could be issues around water this month. Like severe tidal waves or anything to do with water and water issues or boats or anything of that nature. And so we got to keep an eye on that. Maybe heavy rain, that is a possibility as well too. Now let's look at that new moon in Pisces on the 10th. Here it is at 20 degrees of Pisces. So once again, wherever this is in your birth chart, that's the area that gets lit up. It's being joined by Neptune about 7 degrees away, which again is about imagination. It's about fantasy. It's about psychic ability. It's about compassion. So the first thing I would suggest here is be compassionate with yourself. Realize who you really are. You're not your title. You're not your things. You're not your job. We're all spiritual beings in these physical suits having a human experience. And so this is going to be very important. Saturn is loosely connected to it, 9 degrees away. So there's some discipline there. And so this is a nice little balance between the disciplined Saturn and the imagination of Neptune. And so this is going to ignite a lot of thought and compassion in the next 2 weeks. So I say take advantage of it. Now there's only one major alignment here to Uranus, which is at 19 degrees. It's an exact sextile. So this is very favorable. This is suggesting something new, some new value system, new money-making opportunity, a new way to look at yourself and how you value yourself, you see. And there could be some surprises in the mix in the next 2 weeks. And whatever that is going on in your life, there could be many surprises that are going to be coming your way. Now, we also have, by the end of the month, we'll have Mars and Venus both leaving Aquarius and going into Pisces as well. So you could see this is a very strong month with all this Pisces influence. And that's what I wrote in my newsletter, a very sentimental month ahead because it's heavily Piscean energy that is influencing us. Now, when we get out of this month and we go into April, then it becomes all this fiery, Aries energy. So right now we're kind of just sensing everything and not so motivated. And, maybe we're having a little doubt and concern about what we're doing or where we're going, which is totally normal. Okay. But that's all going to change once the energy moves forward. So let's look in the United States. This chart highlights the third house of communication. So once again, news, information, something that almost seems surreal that may come into the picture. Could, again, have something to do with finance. Let's see, it's favorably aligned to the United States' chart, also to its Mercury. So once again, it could have something to do with finances because it's actually making a trine to Mercury, which is the communication planet. It's opposing Neptune right there. So it could be something to do with healthcare, I don't want to say pandemic, but there could be something to do with medical issues. I'm not saying it's bad or good, but I'm just seeing, the opposition here with Neptune. And so I would say something new is trying to emerge, and there's going to be a lot of communication around this. Since Pisces is associated with medicine and healthcare and so on, there could be quite a bit of news about something to do with healthcare this month. whatever took place in the past or something new that evolves. We may see something about that as well. So again, during this new moon, we have Venus conjuncting the United States is moon. And so once again, we're talking about the United States and its foundation, its core. Could be something to do with land. Could have something to do with, Washington, D.C., even though this is set for Washington, D.C. The moon is the foundation in a chart, okay, where the sun is the creativity. And, of course, we're born in the Cancer nation, which is associated with the moon. And so there could be, I'm seeing the theme here. It's either healthcare related or it is market related or with money or money matters. That's what I'm seeing here because, again, it's making a favorable alignment to Uranus. We'll have to see, folks. Anyway, let's move on. On the 11th, we have Venus entering Pisces. Now, I chose this image because Venus is all about relationships and Pisces is about fantasy and, wanting to connect with the ultimate source. And so Venus in Pisces is going to make people more goo-goo gaga about relationships and thinking about them. And I wish I had one. And I wish I had my former lover back and all that stuff. You see? And so we have to be careful of not over fantasizing about relationships. Even though Venus is exalted in Pisces, in other words, it works very well in Pisces. And so we're going to see, again, Venus also represents not just relationships, but it represents values and money. So once again, this to me is suggesting having to do with partnerships and financial matters that are on the table as well this month. Here's the chart, and we see there's Venus in Pisces, and it'll be making its way up this way. As it does, it will be making aspects to Jupiter and Uranus in about, a week and a half to 2 weeks. So as it makes its way up, we could expect more news about financial matters because it's going to aspect Jupiter and then Uranus. So we're in for some major surprises, I would say, from this time all the way into the end of the month. So, wherever this Venus is in your birth chart, that's the area that gets lit up, and that's where you're going to be focusing on making money or partnership oriented. And so just be realistic. That's all I could say. If something's not working out, don't force it. That's how it works. Here it is, the United States' chart. We have that Venus lighting up the third house again. So not only do we have a new moon activating the third house, now we have Venus also here, once again suggesting more news. There could be lots of news this month around this time, the 11th all the way through the end of the month, once again having to do with either healthcare or financial matters because it's in the third house of communication. So we'll see what happens. Now, on the 19th, the ball game changes. This is because this time of the year, we have the sun going into the sign of Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. So it actually happens late on the 19th, and technically it is the 19th into the 20th. So Aries is a totally different energy than Pisces, as you could see here from the symbol of the ram. There's a reason why this symbol was chosen as the first sign of the zodiac. This is a pioneering spirit. This represents the self or the ego, and it's always up for a challenge. Ask any Aries. They love conflict. They love battle. They love, to get in there, mix it up, and they love, going in a new direction. And so this is the energy of Aries. Also, it's the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere. This is where everything starts to grow as the sun begins to make its way up into the high point in the chart. It's not really the sun, but it's the earth moving. And so the spring equinox. And so this is a time where in the major religions, they celebrate the return of the sun, S-U-N. You see? And so this is why it's important. The four equinoxes are so important because they're sort of it's a cross actually, where the sun makes a significant turn, rising up, highest point, then it starts going down, and then it dies in December. You see, and then the cycle repeats again. So this is the beginning of something new. This is always a favorable time to go out and plant and enjoy the sunshine. Hopefully it's getting warmer, and so we feel more empowered when the sun is out longer. The days become longer. So this is why the ancient cultures, always appreciated this time of the year. Here's the sun entering Aries right there. Okay, now we have 2 planets in Aries. And so now the energy is starting to move into the fiery realm, not just the water realm. Now it's fire. And so the motivation is starting to increase here around the 19th for many people. So again, wherever this enters your birth chart, that's the area that, you're motivated to get things done. And so this is a time where you take action. And so here we have it in the United States' chart right there. And as you can see here, within 1 day, it's going to enter the 4th house. But the thing here, when this time of the year, we have Mars. Actually, Mars is associated with Aries. But notice 0 degrees, and then it's going to quickly square the United States' Venus, then square Jupiter, and then eventually square the sun. So there's always a bit of restlessness around this time when we have the sun entering this part of the chart. And it'll go into the 4th house, once again, having to do with the foundation. Could have something to do with Washington, D.C., could have something to do with land. And Aries represents military. Very interesting. So we could see not just the United States, but there could be military conflicts that the United States is getting their nose into or somehow is a part of. And so there is that possibility as well. So we may see more stuff about military intervention or change in the military or something along those lines. As we can see here, Mars is now conjunct the moon exactly at this time. So again, very friction, a lot of heavy energy coming in the United States' chart. So I'm expecting some major announcements this month, and we'll see. I'll try and do a review video and find information about what I'm seeing here. Okay, on the 22nd, Mars, the ruler of Aries, enters Pisces. Now, this is not exactly the easiest thing for Mars to be in, because here we have this fiery energy that wants to go, go, go. And here we have Pisces, the slow and imaginative and compassionate sign that wants to give and sacrifice itself and be creative. And then Mars is like, no, we need to fight. We need to conflict. We need to challenge. And so this is a bit of a dichotomy here, obviously, with Mars and Pisces. But on the plus side, we may be more prone to spiritual matters or spending more time by the water. We may get involved in creative pursuits like art, some form of creativity. Mars in Pisces, Mars represents the self and the ego, and Pisces doesn't have an ego. And so we may be reflecting upon, ourselves and our self-worth and, questioning all of that stuff as well. So Mars is definitely weakened in Pisces. It's not as strong. But we have to go through these cycles. So on March the 22nd, we have Mars again in the watery realms. So as you can see here, this month is really sensitive, emotional, nostalgic, confusing. But on the positive side, it could be very spiritual or mystical and focusing on what's real. Then again, what is real? But so Mars in Pisces is going to throw another curveball into the mix. Here we have the Mars entering Pisces. We still have plenty of planets in Pisces, as you can see here, 4 planets. But the motivation is definitely improved because of the Sun moving through Aries and, as you can see, a Mercury running through Aries. So here we see, once again, some favorable alignments, actually. We have Saturn making a favorable alignment to Jupiter, and we have Venus now coming into a favorable alignment to Jupiter and then into Uranus. So this is a time, again, just to take your time, go after what you need to go after. Don't beat yourself up, and just slowly move in the direction that you need to go in, because it's a creative time. But trust your intuition. Pisces is very intuitive. Trust your intuition. If it feels right, whether that's a new job or a new situation with another person, or maybe you're thinking about moving. I found that a lot of people, when we have all this Pisces energy, tend to gravitate towards the water because it's a water sign. And so many people may be thinking about moving near water or spending time by the water, which is fine. But trust your intuition. That's the key here. Here it is in the United States' chart. Now, Mars is in the 3rd house, again, amplifying the need for communication. And so once again, this 3rd house is being lit up like a Christmas tree here. Not just the new moon, but also Venus and now Mars. And it makes favorable alignments to Mercury and Jupiter. Once again, having to do with partnerships. This may have something to do with the markets, land, reevaluating land, farmland. All of this stuff is on the table here. Spiritual matters. We may have religious leaders or spiritual matters coming to the forefront. That is a possibility here as well. But again, we're talking about Pisces, so it could have something to do with water as well. So let's keep an eye on that. Now, the big news also is on the 25th, we have the lunar eclipse in Libra. This is the first eclipse of the year, and it happens to be in the sign of Libra. And lunar eclipses are usually realizations, endings, completions. It's bringing things to light. It's a cycle that's coming to an end. It happens to be in the sign of relationships or balance. And so over the next 6 months, I would say up to a year, because eclipses can't take that long to manifest, you will begin to change some of the dynamics of your relationships. It could be a job that's ending. It could be a relationship that's ending. It could be a friendship that's ending. It could be anything. But lunar eclipses are bringing great awareness to this area of your chart. So wherever this Libra is in your chart, it's going to be at 5 degrees of Libra for those of you keeping track. And so wherever that is, and I do have a chart here I will go over, that's what it's doing. You see, symbolically, the Earth is blocking the light going to the moon. So the moon always represents the past. And so when we have a lunar eclipse, it's like an ending, a completion, a realization. And so we are going to see this as well in society, where people are pushing away from certain things and situations and going, enough. Lunar eclipses and the moon also associated with the home, feeling, and foundation. So you may have people checking out of your life in some way, whether they're going out, horizontal, or they're walking out, or they're moving away, or whatever it is. You're going to see that, And so this is a part of life. People come in our lives, and they leave, and it's back and forth. And so this lunar eclipse is going to be very important. And so it's about relationships, as I pointed out, because it's in the sign of Libra. So I found this image. I wanted to use it. I thought it was nice. So 5 degrees of Libra. Here it is. So here we have the full moon lunar eclipse right there, opposing the sun right there at 5 degrees. And so there's this push and pull, as I wrote in my newsletter, between the assertiveness and the self and the relationship of others. Now, there's only one major alignment that's taking place here, and that is a favorable alignment, a sextile to Pluto, which again is suggesting some sort of ending or transformation in relationships or in identity, because Aries represents the self. So we are seeing some sort of change here taking place during this lunar eclipse. I would say from March the 9th on, there's definitely some form of change that is occurring within ourselves, within others, relationships, and some major transformations taking place in society. So wherever these alignments are in your chart, they will highlight those areas. All right. Don't take it personally. In other words, what I mean by that is don't think that you're the only one going through this because of all this Pisces energy. Remember, Pisces is the martyr. So it feels sorry for itself if it's not moving or it's ending a relationship or, whatever's ending in your life. Don't take it as, oh my God, it's the end of my world. No, it's the end of a cycle. And you have experienced what you needed to experience at that time, over the last, whatever it is, number of years. You see, everything in this world, in this reality, is just making choices and having experiences. That's it. Okay? And so how else are we going to learn unless we make, choices and have experiences? Anyway, so this one is highlighting relationships. In the United States' chart, that is at the high point of the chart, almost on the midhaven. So this is again suggesting something to do with politics or political leaders, because the 10th house represents political leaders, as you can see here by Saturn. And so it is also squaring exactly Jupiter at 5 degrees, Venus at 3 degrees, and loosely with the Sun at 13 degrees. So this is suggesting there is a leadership vacuum here. There could be some political candidates that drop out. There could be litigation issues that disappear. I think about Mr. T and his litigation issues. There could be a lot more, news about the justice system, because Libra also is associated with the justice system, and so there could be a lot of that going on. There could be something that is brought out in the lamestream media that causes, because it is a T-square here between the Sun, the Moon, and the square to Jupiter, something to do with the leaders. For instance, Tucker Carlson interviewing, Vladimir Putin. Maybe he's going to be interviewing somebody else more important or just as important. And so politics is absolutely in the mix here. The United States is absolutely in the crosshairs. Okay? And so we may see conflict. We may see a restlessness. We may see a story in the news that is really going to get everyone up in arms. There was a story of one of these young girls that was killed by one of these migrants. I forgot where it was. I'm sorry, but I mean the whole town showed up. There was, it looked like thousands of people that showed up for her a funeral, and so that kind of stuff is what I'm seeing here. You see, some event, some major event that everyone is just so, up in arms about, or paying attention to, or showing compassion towards in some way. And that's what I'm seeing here with this lunar eclipse in Libra. And so this is a major turning point. This month is a major turning point, especially from the 9th on. So we'll see how it plays itself out. As I say in all my videos, and I repeat this to myself every day, I realize I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. I will do the best I can. Everything will work itself out, and that's the key to this reality, is understanding who you really are. And when you do that, all the small stuff starts to fade away. Okay, I could just tell you from experience, and you really begin to appreciate everything. The little things and the big things, all of it, you start to really appreciate it. All right. So anyway, if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on social media, and I will continue to do my best to keep you informed. All right, folks, have a great month, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye for now.